Court is back in session in cause number 329464. Case is style of state of Texas versus Paul Rodriguez Pena. We have Mr. Pena who's present with his attorney, Mr. James Paget, and Mr. Pena speaks Spanish and some English. We have our interpreter, Ms. Jennifer Araji, and Mr. Pena has been sworn in. He pled guilty to the information. He acknowledged that his initials was on page 2 and his signature was on page 3 of the misdemeanor plea admonishment, which is State's Exhibit number 1. Mr. Pena also was read the paragraph in State's Exhibit 1 that's titled Citizenship, and he has initialed that paragraph stating that he understood what it meant. Also, Mr. Pena signed the document that is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. And now I have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Mr. Pena, I have a document before me that is titled Discovery Certification. It has your signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Did you sign this document?
Que hay otro documento que era de Discovery, que si esa es su firma completo que está ahí.
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Pena, you previously stated that you are not a U.S. citizen. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you're from Mexico. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Mr. Pena, we have a document here before us that is titled English. It says for all foreign nationals except those from mandatory notification countries. And the interpreter went over this document with you in Spanish. Is that correct?
Yes.
Que el documento que te explicó en ese ratito que entendiste todo.
Yes.
And you stated that your indications that you do not want to be, you do not want us to notify your consular office at this time. Is that correct?
Que no quieres que los notifica de la oficina de consular en su país, ¿verdad?
No.
Okay. So, Mr. Pena, prior to signing and initialing all of these documents that I have just went over with you, did you understand everything in these documents?
Antes de firmar todos los documentos, ¿sí entendiste lo que firmaste?
Yes.
And did your attorney and the interpreter or the translator go over documents with you?
Que si su abogado y yo lo explicó los documentos bien.
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Y que si todo en los documentos era de verdad.
Yes.
Yes. Exhibit number 1.
Oh, State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. Would you like to offer Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections, Mr. Paget?
No objections to State's 1, Your Honor.
Okay, no objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Now, Mr. Paget,
Yes,
you
sir.
advised and counseled Mr. Pena. Did you advise him and counsel him to the possibility of what could happen if he enters a plea of guilty to this offense? And what I'm asking you is pursuant to Padilla versus Kentucky, did you advise your client as to the possibilities of being deported, denied naturalization, or excluded admission from this country? And those
Yes, we fully discussed it, and he indicated to me that he understood.
Okay.
You understand everything? Okay.
Now, Mr. Paget, did you also, you've advised and counseled Mr. Pena. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, Mr. Pena, your attorney has advised and counseled you.
señor Peña, que su abogado te explicó y te avisó con todo de su caso
Are you satisfied with his representation?
y que todo estás, de todo está que te gustaba lo que hizo.
Satisfecho. Yes.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Que todo sus servicios era efectivo.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Rodriguez Pena, I will accept your plea of guilty.
Que van a agarrar su caso de culpable,
I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial.
que puedes hacer en frente de su trabajo,
I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given.
que todo en su caso usted lo hizo usted solamente,
And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
que van a agarrar su plea de culpable.
State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
Your Honor, the agreement is for 60 days in the Jefferson County Jail with credit for 14.
Okay,
He actually has 15. It was 14 yesterday. And I think if you add today, it should be 15. I filled out the paperwork, so maybe I need to come by and initial that.
okay,
Your Honor, the state will agree to the extra day.
okay. I'll just make-
Thank you, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Pena, the state is offering that you serve 60 days in the Jefferson County Jail and you would get credit for 15 days that you've already served.
Ok, está diciendo que el Estado la van a dar 60 días ahí en la cárcel, pero la van a dar crédito de 15 días.
Mr. Pena, the court cost in this case is $502. Mr. Pena, are you able to pay the $502?
Que dice unos costos de corte son $502, que usted lo puede pagar esos $502.
No.
No.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if we got it.
Maybe I was, in jail.
Okay. It's moving slow. Just hold on a minute. We're trying to get his affidavit of indigence that he's filed. What's the rest of it? This is just give me all that stack. It's mixed in. Yeah, it's mixed in. No, I just saw one page. Yeah, just give me the stack. Second page right here. Judge didn't sign it. Please own. Okay, he didn't say that. Mr. Pena, ask Mr. Pena if he's working.
¿Usted está trabajando?
No right now.
Okay. So he doesn't have a source of income. Ask him if he has any bills?
Y usted tiene biles que tiene que pagar.
Not right now.
No, okay. No income, no bill. Tell Mr. Rodriguez Pena that.
You finished?
Find that he's indigent.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
And then, dice que la corte la van a decir que él no se le puede pagar la fino.
Okay, what did he say? Tell him again.
I'm not sure.
Tell Mr. Pena that the court is finding that he's indigent, that he does not have the money to pay the court costs.
Señor Peña,
Yes.
ok, que la corte van a decir que usted no se lo puede pagar los finos de la corte, ¿verdad?
No.
And the court cost is going to be waived.
Que los van a quitar la costo de la corte y usted no van a tener que pagar, ¿ok?
And that means that he won't have to pay the court costs.
¿Sí entiendes?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, now ask Mr. Pena if he understands the state's offer.
Y si usted entiende lo que está diciendo el Estado de los 60 días de la cárcel.
Yes.
And do you think that the state's offer is fair and just?
Y que usted piensa que el oferero es justo.
Yes.
And ask him if he accepts the state's offer.
Y si te lo quieres hacer adelante con ese caso.
Yes.
Okay, tell him I'll follow the plea bargain agreement. This will conclude his case. He can follow the bailiff and tell him to have a blessed day.
Ok, dice que los van a aceptar los 60 días y que todo su caso ya está final y ya que tenga buen día usted.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And you have a blessed day as well, Mr. Paget.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you excuse.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. You have a page, that's it right there. Okay. Yeah, you have three papers on the article. Court is back in session. We're in session in cause number 329264. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Kelsey Nicole Menard. Ms. Menard, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Menard, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Menard, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Menard, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Menard? That's good. Ms. Menard, you're represented here by your attorney, Mr. John Macy. Mr. Macy, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Ms. Menard, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the district attorney's office, and it alleges that on or about June 17th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of telephone harassment. Ms. Menard, do you understand what you have been charged with? And to this charge, Ms. Menard, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Menard, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, Ms. Menard, there's a set of initials KM on a line that is next to a box that's checked nolo contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
The next document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Ms. Menard, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature above the line that is titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? I also have a document before me that is titled Discovery Certification. Ms. Menard, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Menard, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Macy, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Macy went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me. Okay, state, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, you also like to offer State's Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
No objections. State's Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Macy, you have advised and counseled Ms. Menard. Is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Menard, your attorney, Mr. Macy, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Menard, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, the agreement is for 28 days time served in the Jefferson County Jail with court costs to be taxed and retired.
Ms. Menard, the state is offering that you serve 28 days in the Jefferson County Jail, but you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 28 days, therefore you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $337, but you will not have to pay the court cost of $337 because the time that you spent in jail has already paid off. Therefore, the court cost will be taxed and retired. Ms. Menard, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Menard, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Menard, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney. You're gonna follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Macy, once you finish signing, you'll be free to go as well.
Thank you.
And you have a blessed day. We have next. Who? I was just wondering, who was next? Carrazza? Okay, that's Jermichael Jones. Court is back in session in cause number 319046. Case is style of State of Texas versus Jermichael Earl Jones. For the record, your name is Jermichael Earl Jones?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Jones, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Jones, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Jones?
Fine, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Jones, I have before me a document that is titled Motion to Revoke Probation. This document alleges that on October 22nd of 2018, that you were found guilty for the offense of possession of marijuana, which was a Class B misdemeanor, and your punishment was assessed at 90 days confinement, a fine of $500, and your confinement was probated for a period of 1 year. On January 30th of 2019, the state filed a motion to revoke your probation. In this motion, there are 3 allegations. State, are you abandoning allegations 2 and 3?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones, the state is abandoning allegations 2 and 3. And what that means is they will not be going forward on those allegations. However, they will be going forward on allegation number 1. And allegation number 1 reads as follows. That the said Jermichael Earl Jones failed to report to the Jefferson County Probation Office as ordered by the court the months of October, November, December 2018, and January 2019 as directed in violation of condition 4 of the defendant's probation order. Mr. Jones, is that true or not true?
True.
Mr. Jones, are you pleading true to allegation number 1 freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading true because it is true?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Mr. Jones, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, there's a set of initials on a line that's next to a box that's checked MTRP, true to allegations, number 1. The initials are JJ. Are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
The next document that I have is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Jones, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I have just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections? No objection. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Ms. Peraza, you've advised in counsel, Mr. Jones, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones, the attorney, Ms. Peraza, has advised in counsel to. Are you satisfied with his representation, with her representation?
Yes, sir.
Has she provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Jones, I will accept your plea true to allegation number 1. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to revoke your probation, and your probation is hereby revoked. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
Your Honor, the agreement is for 10 days, time served in the Jefferson County Jail with court costs, tax, and retirement.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones, the state is offering that you serve 10 days in the Jefferson County Jail, but you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $247, but you will not have to pay the $247 because the time that you have spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Mr. Jones, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think the state's offer is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Jones, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Jones, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney. And you're gonna follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following the clerk's directions, you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day. Ms. Peraza, is this your only case?
I believe so,
Okay,
Your Honor.
you'll be free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you. Yes.
I put a dismissal on the tablet. It's on Samantha Hudson.
Samantha Hudson, okay.
Yes, and it was, she was on the docket today.
Oh, she was?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's, in fact, the explanation as to why it's on the dismissal.
Okay. Oh. Huh? It's on page 1. Oh, what docket? Announcement?
Yes,
Final Smith. Terrence.
second from the bottom.
Second one is Fields.
Should be case 325410.
You say second from the bottom on the announcement docket?
Yes,
I have Ollie Fields.
Fields and then discuss and then fields.
Oh, well, that mine is on a different page. Okay. Oh, mine is way down here. You talking about Mendez?
No, well, we're talking, the dismissal, Your Honor, was on Hudson.
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Mendez is, Mr.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do Mendez. Go ahead and get Mark Mendez. DWI. Yeah, let's see. Okay, this is not, okay. Making sure it's one of, under the new rules.
I don't think so,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's,
maybe up for interpretation.
yeah, I guess. Okay, court is in session in cause number 329104. The case is filed the state of Texas,
Your Honor, 329.
104.
264, I believe. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, my bad, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I was looking at the wrong case.
Oh, okay.
Apologies.
That's all right. Okay, Mr. Mendez, the court is in session in cause number 329104. The case is filed the state of Texas versus Mark Anthony Mendez.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mendez, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mendez, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Mendez, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down, Mr. Mendez. How are you doing, Mr. Mendez?
I'm doing great on yourself.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Mendez, you're here represented by your attorney Scott Rennick. Attorney Rennick, how are you doing?
Good, Your Honor, thank you.
That's good. Now, Mr. Mendez, I have before me a document that is titled Information. It was filed by the District Attorney's Office. This information alleges that on or about October 25th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Mr. Mendez, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Mendez, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no
Guilty, Your
contest?
Honor.
Huh?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Guilty? Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mendez, I have before me another document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. Mr. Mendez, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And on page 3, excuse me, on page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials, MAM, on a line next to a box that is checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On the next page of the same document, that he got his initials, he's supposed to put his signature on the next page.
Oh, my initials is my signature, Your Honor.
Oh, they are?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Mendez, on the next page of this document, above the line that is titled Defendant, is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, above the line that is titled Defendant, is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Mr. Mendez, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature above the line that is titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Mendez, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Rennick, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
There's no objection, Your Honor.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Mendez, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rennick, you have advised and counseled Mr. Mendez. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None from the defense, Your Honor.
Mr. Mendez, your attorney, Mr. Rennick, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mendez, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
Your Honor, the agreement is for 1 year deferred probation with a $1,000 fine, 80 hours of community service, completion of DWI classes, an alcohol assessment, alcohol and drug screening during probation, and interlock device.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change that judgment. Okay, Mr. Mendez. Let's see, did he have a blood test?
It was
And this-
0.141.
Okay. And, okay, Mr. Mendez. Do you just have a regular driver's license or do you have a commercial driver's license?
A regular driver's license.
Okay, and let's see, that it was after September 1 of 2019. Okay, Mr. Mendez, the state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $1,000 plus court costs of $422, which comes to a total of fine and court costs of $1,422. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You will be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education class and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. The total monthly installments that you'll be required to pay, that is the total amount that you would have to pay each month while you're on probation, is $205. Mr. Mendez, will you be able to pay the $205?
Yes, sir.
You will also be required to perform 80 hours of community service. You'll be required to attend and complete the DWI education class, and you'll be required to have an alcohol assessment. You'll be required to install the DWI interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate, and you'll be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Mendez, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mendez, I will follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. And let's see. Okay, now, Mr. Mendez, pursuant to Article 42A.108, on violation of a condition of deferred adjudicated probation or community supervision imposed under Article 42A.104, you, the defendant, may be arrested and detained as provided in Article 42A.751. You, the defendant, is entitled to a hearing limited to the determination by the court of whether the court will proceed with an adjudication of guilt on the original charge, and the court may not proceed with an adjudication of guilt on the original charge if the court finds that the only evidence supporting the alleged violation of a condition of deferred adjudication probation is the uncorroborated results of a polygraph examination. The court determination to proceed with adjudication of guilt on the original charge is reviewable in the same manner as a revocation hearing conducted under Article 42A.751D in a case in which the adjudication of guilt was not deferred. Now, after adjudication of guilt, all proceedings, including assessment of punishment, pronouncing the sentence, and granting of community supervision, and the defendant's right to appeal continues as if adjudication of guilt had not been deferred. Now, Mr. Mendez, if you successfully complete the probationary period, this case will be dismissed. It will not result in a conviction on your record, and you may qualify for non-disclosure. And you can talk to your attorney about the non-disclosure because he's quite competent in those matters. Now, you're going to stand on the X next to your attorney in front of our court coordinator. I'm just going in front of our court clerk. Once you finish following her direction, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Rennick, I think this is your only case?
It's my only one, Your Honor.
Okay. So once you finish signing the pad, you'll be free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Just take your.
Oh, yeah, he called me. He wants to come in.
Okay, look at the phone.
Yeah.
Mr. Bailey, once you go get all of Mr. Smith's clients in the,
Okay, last person again? Okay, just barely set it on there for me. Lift up and do it again. There we go. Got it. Okay, just sign the signature pad for me. You'll be able to see it, but I can see it on my end.
Trina.
Yes, sir.
It's one of Bruce's. Okay, we're gonna do him. Yeah.
Just the felony attorney. That's what you want?
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, when you showed me that, I had all Bruce Smith coming in. And then when I saw that, I thought you was telling me that these are Bruce Smith.
And I'm putting those motions to withdraw, they coming in slowly, so his office is submitting them now.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, hold on a minute. You're gonna need this here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do it like that. That's
What case you here?
Leger,
Get Leger.
he's not here.
It's on your MTRP docket, Your Honor.
What's the last one? Court is in session and calls numbers 327-216, calls number 329-361, and calls number 331-248. All three cases are style of State of Texas versus Shane Tyler Leger. Mr. Shane Tyler Leger was scheduled to be in court at 9 a.m. at or about 9 a.m. Mr. Shane Tyler Leger's name was called at the courthouse door by the court's bailiff. Mr. Leger did not answer. We have Mr. Ryan Matuska, who's present in court, who is the attorney for Mr. Shane Leger. Mr. Matuska, how you doing?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. You have an announcement in Mr. Leger's case?
Well, Your Honor, I just have an update. Mr. Leger contacted our office yesterday and said that he was trying to get it here for the court, but the weather, there was some issue, and I asked him to zoom in,
Okay,
but I hadn't seen him or heard from him, and I don't expect him to be here today.
okay. Now, you know, you could zoom in, call, or be in person. So if he doesn't make an appearance, we'll do our bond forfeitures, then his bond will be forfeited.
Yes, sir.
But you could still try to, if you want to try to
We'll
get in
keep trying.
contact with him. Yeah. You free to go. This y'all the case?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank
you're free to go. Okay. First case I have is, the next case I have rather is cause number 324-104, case is style, the State of Texas versus Sade Simpson. Ms. Simpson, would you please come forward? Ms. Simpson, I have before me, well, first of all, Ms. Simpson, how are you doing? Ms. Simpson, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Simpson, do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down, Ms. Simpson. Ms. Simpson, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Bruce Smith. Mr. Smith, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Now, Mr. Smith, I have before me a motion to withdraw as counsel in Ms. Simpson's case.
Yes, Your Honor, it has
Miss-
nothing to do against her. It just has to do with I'm no longer on the misdemeanor court appointed list, and my felony docket is so massive that I can't devote the time required.
Okay, now, Ms. Simpson, have you received a copy of the motion to withdraw?
No, sir.
Okay, have her look at that. Okay, okay. Okay, Ms. Simpson, we're gonna grant Mr. Bruce Smith's motion to withdraw because you are not opposed to it. Is that correct? Okay, so you're going to be appointed another court-appointed attorney. And please step on the X in front of our court coordinator, and she'll tell you who your attorney is going to be. And once you get your attorney, the information on your attorney, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. You're welcome. I could just call the next one up. Just- Holly Heisner. Holly Heisner.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Court is in session in cause number 329-334 and cause number 329-338. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Holly Caitlin Heisner.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How are you doing, Ms. Heisner?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Heisner, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Heisner, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you
Yes.
God? You may put your hand down. Ms. Heisner, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Bruce Smith. Attorney Bruce Smith has filed a motion to withdraw in each one of your cases. Have you had a chance to review?
I have not been able to review it yet, but I did call yesterday his office.
And so you
they told me
discussed it
about
with him?
Yes.
Okay, now, do you have any objections to him withdrawing from your case?
No, sir.
Okay, now, Ms. Heisner, I'm going to sign these motions. Okay, Ms. Heisner, Attorney Smith is no longer your attorney. He's withdrawn. Now, you still have the option if you want us to appoint
Yes.
you another attorney, okay, because you've met the eligibility requirements. You will have another attorney appointed. Have a seat in your chair, and then when the court coordinator gets ready for you, she's gonna call you up and give you the information on your new court-appointed attorney.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Christopher Anderson, Your name is Christopher Anderson? Mr. Anderson, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Anderson, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Anderson, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Anderson, you may put your hand down. This is cause number 328-148. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Christopher Anderson. Mr. Anderson, your attorney is Mr. Bruce Smith. And Mr. Smith has filed a motion to withdraw in your case. Have you had an opportunity to either discuss this matter with Attorney Smith's office, or have you read the
I
motion?
got a call last week.
Okay. Do you have any objections to Mr. Smith withdrawing from your case?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Anderson, I'm going to sign this motion to withdraw. And it will be granted. Mr. Anderson, do you still want a court-appointed attorney? Okay. Now, what we're going to do, our court coordinator is going to call you up when she's ready for you to give you the information on your court-appointed attorney. All right?
Thank you.
All right. Now, all of these cases are court-appointed?
No, not all. of them.
Oh, so, let me do this here.
I think there's like 6.
Which ones are court-appointed? They're the ones that's entitled.
John Beard is court appointed.
What?
Alex King is court appointed.
If not,
Christine Gans is court appointed.
they'll have to fill out the trial court, the information, judge's explanation, the ones that have not, don't have those filled out. Okay, this person, the first person that she was. Okay, look up Heisler. That's the next one. Okay, and now next, look up Anderson. Christopher Anderson. So we had Simpson was appointed. Anderson was appointed. Heisler. Okay.
Just 3 more that.
Okay. Here we go. That's the only one so far. Is this another motion?
Yeah, they haven't, the other ones haven't.
Okay, we got
haven't
Gant.
received the others.
Okay, the court is in session in cause number 328-850. Case is style of state of Texas versus Christy Gans. Was that a court appointed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Gans?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court is in session in cause number 328-850. Case is style of state of Texas versus Christy Gans. Ms. Gans, how are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Ms. Gans, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Gans, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Okay, you may put your hand down, Ms. Gans. Hi. And Ms. Gans, your attorney is Mr. Bruce Smith. Mr. Bruce Smith has filed a motion to withdraw in your case. Ms. Gans, have you received a copy of the motion to withdraw, or have you talked to Mr. Bruce Smith's office? Have you had a chance to review the motion? Now, are you opposed to Mr. Smith withdrawing as your attorney? You're against him withdrawing?
No.
Now, hers was an appointed one too, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Gaines. I will grant Mr. Smith's motion to withdraw. You will be appointed another attorney. If that's your option, you still want a court-appointed attorney? You still want one? Okay. Just have a seat and the court coordinator is gonna call you back up and appoint you a new attorney. Okay? Court is in session in cause number 330102. Case is style of State of Texas versus Elax King. Mr. King, you can take your mic off of mute.
Hey, good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Mr. King. Mr. King, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. King, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down. Mr. King, you're represented here in your case by your attorney, Mr. Bruce Smith. And Mr. Smith has filed a motion to withdraw in your case. And what that simply means, he's asking to be taken off of your case. Have you received a copy of that motion?
No, sir.
Have you talked to anyone at Mr. Smith's office about the motion to withdraw?
No, sir.
Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, Mr. King, I'll read this motion that Mr. Smith has filed. It says motion to withdraw as counsel to the honorable judge of said court. Now comes Bruce N. Smith, movement, and brings this motion to withdraw as counsel, and in support thereof shows: 1, movement is attorney of record for Elax King and was appointed by this court to represent defendant in the above entitled case. 2, movement requests the court to withdraw its appointment of counsel in this cause, as movement is no longer on the court-appointed list, and further due to his heavy trial and hearing schedule, he does not have sufficient time to complete this case on a court-appointed basis. 3, the last known address, I'm not going to read your address here, but it has your address.
Yes,
here.
sir.
And number 4, it has your phone number as well. And the last part of this motion says, prayer, wherefore premises considered, move and praise that the court will grant his motion to withdraw on the face of this pleading. Alternatively, movement requests that the court set this matter for a hearing so that movement may present evidence in support of this motion. And it's respectfully submitted by Bruce N. Smith, the attorney. Now, Mr. King, do you have any objections to Mr. Smith withdrawing as your attorney?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. King, the court is going to grant this motion to withdraw, and you will be appointed, if that's your desire, because this Mr. Smith was appointed in this case, the court can appoint you a new attorney. Is that your desire?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, is everything, when you say it's information, okay, your address and phone number is still the same?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Our court coordinator, here you go. Yeah, our court coordinator is gonna get with you in a few minutes, so just hold on, and you will be given another attorney, and also, just hold on.
Yes, sir.
Who? Okay. Okay, your new attorney is gonna be Lori Perazzo. And the court date is going to be April 1st. Do we need to give him a phone number on Ms. Perazzo? Hold on a minute. Do you have something?
Yes, sir.
to add?
I'll grab it right now. I'm ready, Your Honor.
What is his number? Hold on a minute.
Yes, sir.
It's 409-924-0001. And her name is Lori Perazzo. I think that's Perrozzo.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this will conclude your case, Mr. King. Thanks for being patient with us. You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
You as well, Your Honor. You have a blessed one as too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Do we have anybody else?
Last one is John Beard.
Do we have Beard's paperwork? Yeah, everybody's here.
We don't have the motion yet. It came through.
We have anybody else?
Can you just have a seat? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, three. Okay. Okay. Court is in session in, yes, two cases? It's only one on the time.
I gave you two motions for the,
Oh.
the decision.
Court is in session in cause number 329-564. Case is styled the state of Texas versus John Adam Beard. Mr. Beard, would you please come forward? Mr. You could get that to your client. Your name is John Adam Beard?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Beard, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may put your hand down. How you doing, Mr. Beard?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Beard. Your attorney is Mr. Bruce Smith. Mr. Smith has filed a motion to withdraw as your attorney in your case. Have you had opportunity to review the motion, or have you talked to Mr. Smith's?
I understand what's going on.
Okay. Do you have any objections to Mr. Smith withdrawing?
No, I would just like another attorney.
Okay. Okay, so Mr. Beard, this motion will be granted. You will be appointed another attorney. Just have a seat and we will call you back up to appoint your attorney.
Yes, thank you.
Who else? Here you go. Okay, that was all the court appointments.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you have some others that's not court appointed.
That's correct, Your Honor.
So Hudson was dismissed. Wasn't that right? Samantha, I just signed a dismissal, I think, on.
Yeah, Samantha Hudson, Your Honor, that case was dismissed just a few minutes ago.
Okay,
Well, you're
I
signing.
think I just signed it. Do you have it over there? Oh, here it is. I hadn't signed it yet. It's still up on here. Is she here?
Ma'am.
Samantha Hudson? We're in session in cause number 325410. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Samantha A. Hudson. Ms. Hudson, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Ms. Hudson?
I'm okay, yourself.
I'm doing fine. Ms. Hudson, the state has filed a dismissal on your case, and I have already signed the dismissal. Our court coordinator have your dismissal. You can get a copy of your dismissal. Your case has been dismissed, and you're free to go, and you have a blessed day.
You too, thank you.
All right, stand over here and get your dismissal. Is that? Who we have next? Is that it? Is that it?
Was your name on the dismissal? No.
Do you have anybody else? I got a Brian Guidry.
Yes, Your Honor, he's one of the cases.
He's on page 2, second from the bottom. Was he hired?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, he was hired?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we don't need it.
No, I'm saying the motion.
He doesn't have a motion in there because he was hired.
Oh, okay.
Right.
It's
he was
just separate announcement, Your Honor.
Well, you still gotta do, if you're gonna do a motion to withdraw.
I'm
Oh,
not
so
doing
you're not withdrawing on that one?
No,
Oh, okay,
we've already done all the ones that withdraw.
okay,
He just did the cornerstone.
okay. Okay, court is in session in cause number 329540, case of style of state of Texas versus Brian Paul Gregory.
Mr. Beard.
Mr. Gregory, would you please come forward? Mr. Gregory, would you please, Mr. Guidry, would you please come forward? Okay, your full name is Brian Paul Guidry?
Yes.
How you doing, Mr. Guidry? I'm doing fine, Mr. Guidry. You're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Bruce Smith. Mr. Smith, what's your announcement in Mr. Guidry's case?
Your Honor, we announced trial on this case.
Okay.
This is her information down here. She should contact you, but if you choose to, wait about 24 hours before you contact. Okay, there you go.
We need a trial date for Brian Guidry. He's at the bottom of page 2, second from the bottom.
April 25th.
Okay. You got to sign, get your reset. Mr. Guidry, you will be getting your reset from your attorney. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Stand over there next to your attorney.
We also have a Sinead Jaquette.
Jaquette, Sinead Jaquette.
Okay, you can sign Mr. Smith.
Yeah. The door. You ready? Okay. This is cause number 330736. Case is style of state of Texas versus Renee Jaquette. Jaquette. Miss Jaquette, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good, thank you.
That's good. Ms. Jaquette, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Bruce Smith. Mr. Smith, what's your announcement in Ms. Jaquette's case?
This was Julie's case, and we requested a discussion with the DA, and we're waiting on that. So I just need a regular reset so we can.
Okay, keep it on the announcement docket.
Yes.
Okay, give us a date.
April 1st.
April 1st, okay, 2022. Ms. Jaquette, your case is gonna be reset to April 1st of 2022. Your attorney will be signing for your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Yeah, so,
You can stand over there with your attorney and get your reset.
yes, sir.
Then we also have a Troyland Stevens.
Troyland
Mr. Smith.
Troyland Stevens, okay.
Order.
Are you doing small?
I'm done. Fine. Okay, this is cause number 329974. The case is style of state of Texas versus Troyland Jermaine Stevens Senior. Mr. Stevens, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Stevens?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Stevens, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Bruce Smith. Mr. Smith, what is your announcement in Mr. Stevens' case?
Your Honor, we are lacking the videos in this case. We've requested them, and the DA's office says that they're putting
Videos?
those together.
Okay. You're gonna reset him on the announcement docket,
Yes, sir.
April 1st. Mr. Stevens, your case is gonna be reset to April 1st of 2022. You'll be getting your reset from your attorney after he signed for the reset. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Stand over there in front of our court coordinator.
I'll be doing all that. It's ready for you, Mr. Smith. You can sign.
Okay, court is in session and calls number 330762. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Juan Hymas or Juan Manuel Hymas Jr.
Yes,
Is that your full name?
yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Hymas?
Pretty good about yourself, sir.
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Hymas, you're here represented by your attorney, Mrs. Bruce Smith. Mr. Smith, what is your announcement?
Your Honor, this was also Julie's case, and the prosecutor is looking it over, and we're waiting for an offer on that case.
Okay, so you just need to reset?
Yes, sir.
Okay, April 1st? Okay, this case will also be reset to April 1st of 2022 for announcement. I'm gonna show that you waiting on offer. Mr. Hymas, your attorney is gonna sign for your reset. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith, you can sign for his reset.
Yes, Your Honor.
And is this your last case, Mr. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Okay, you're free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We did, Michael Taylor, he's pro se. Court is in session and calls number 330488. Case of style of State of Texas versus Michael Wayland Taylor. We have Mr. Michael Wayland Taylor appearing in court. Is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Taylor, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Taylor, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down. How you doing, Mr. Taylor?
Very good.
That's good. Mr. Taylor, see here, I have a note on the docket sheet that says that your case was reset for you to hire an attorney.
Yes, I wasn't able to do it. I mean, I could use more time, but I don't want to ask because I already did it twice on you, so I mean, whatever can we do?
You did what?
I said, I already asked you for extra time twice. I just didn't know if I could do it again, but
Did he,
I mean, I'm just short on cash a little bit. I mean, I mean, I could have it done, but I mean, if you can't do it, it's no big deal. We'll figure something else out.
yeah, you,
Your Honor, this state would oppose further resets for this purpose. It's a fairly serious case and we think it needs to move forward.
all right. Look up his case, Michael Taylor. Don't know how many times. Huh? Just, you're gonna be looking to see when he signed his judge's explanation of rights to defendants without attorney.
September 28th.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, I think, gave you 5 months.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If whatever needs to be done, I mean, I said I'm up.
Yeah, I mean, you have 3 options. You can either hire an attorney, see if you qualify for court-appointed attorney.
Well, I'm like, I'm almost there. Like, I'm like 1,000 short. And I mean, you know what I mean? It's like it says up to you. I mean, I'm just letting you know what's going on.
Yeah, but I mean, like, at this point, we're gonna reset your case on a, now, like I said, we're gonna reset your case on a pretrial conference docket,
Okay, what's that?
pretrial conference docket.
No, so what is that?
That basically means that it's the step before trial.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And you give him, reset him on a pretrial conference. Okay? Now, if you have an attorney hired before then, your attorney may come in and file his letter of representation and do what he needs to do to get started on your case, okay? All right, you stand over there. Who's in that? Oh. That was, who was that? That's Taylor, right? Okay. Let's see. What'd you get him to come in? Hold on a minute, let me take this. We have two cases. First case is cause number 323-254. Second case is cause number 323-734. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Denisha Deshawn Zitar.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Ms. Zitar? I'm doing fine, thanks. Ms. Zitar, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Zitar, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Zitar, you may put your hand down. Ms. Zitar, I see here that your case was reset to give you an opportunity to hire your attorney. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Have you hired your attorney?
No, I've been trying to hire one, but my job, I haven't been there because I had caught COVID. But now I'm feeling better, so I have to wait till.
Okay, let me ask you, say you're feeling better. Did you get a negative COVID test?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you say you're going back to work?
Yes, sir. Monday.
Okay. So how much time do you need to hire your attorney?
Like a month or two.
Okay, give her 60 days. Reset her for 60 days. Okay, your case is gonna be reset for 60 days, give you an opportunity to get, so that you can hire your attorney.
Yes, sir.
Well, which one?
April 22nd or the 29th.
We'll do it on the 29th, April 29th. This case is gonna be reset to April 29th of 2022. Ms. Zitar, your case is being reset to April 29th of 2022. The court is thankful that you recovered from your bout with COVID.
Yes, sir.
And you can stand on the 4X in front of our court coordinator. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Oh, Leje? Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah. Court is in session and calls number 323-548, case is style of state of Texas versus Sherman Lynn Barnes. Mr. Barnes, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Barnes?
I'm doing great, sir.
That's good, Mr. Barnes.
It
I
sounds like I have some other problems. I'm doing great.
Okay, you said you feel like you got some other problems,
No, I said considering that I had other
or
problems.
that you had,
Yeah.
past tense.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now, Mr. Barnes, I see that your case was reset to give you an opportunity to hire an attorney. Have you hired your attorney?
I had Mr. Rojas, then he withdrew, and I've been in conversations with him. He said he's not gonna keep my money because I got laid off. And now I'm back to work. And so we're gonna start paying him. But
So you're saying you're gonna rehire Mr. Rojas? That's what
Yes,
you're
sir.
saying?
Yes, sir. I talked to him. He told me to tell you that I was gonna rehire him.
Okay, so how
'Cause
much
he wasn't gonna
time?
keep my money,
Okay, so how much time do you need?
probably like 30 days. That's it.
Okay, we'll reset him. Okay. Just have a seat in that big chair right there.
Yes, sir.
And when she finished with Ms. Gans, she's gonna call you to the window to reset your case.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna reset him 30. April 1st, okay. The court is in session and calls number 326-046 and calls number 328-408. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Ali Young Fields. Mr. Fields, is that your full name? How you doing, Mr. Fields? You doing all right? Now, Mr. Fields, you have wait a, oh, wow. He's represented by Bynum. Yeah. Yeah, have you talked to your lawyer?
Talked to them a long time ago, but they was waiting for me to do my other case, and then they always say that I'm at the same place. I'll come back Monday too. I got a feeling.
You got a felony Monday?
Yeah.
This is Ali Fields. He's at the, which one? The guy before you or before me? He's on the first page of the announcement document, the last person. He has Bynum. You say you gotta be in court Monday. Yeah, it's at the top of page 2, where it says aggravated assault. You represented by Tom Burbank in that case? Yeah, it's set for,
I had whatchamacallit, but he messed over my money. And he gave me another lawyer. It's just so much chaos.
yeah, I think the docket sheet shows that Tom Burbank
I had forgot his name.
is your attorney.
I had Judge Manus, what's his name, Paget or something like that. And he messed over my money on me $1,000-something, and I didn't want to be my lawyer. I told the other judge about it. So now he just let me get my money. If he ain't gonna represent me, he should get my money back. So I don't know who to talk to about it. So he just come out $1,000 to get another lawyer. He won't even let me get that.
Yeah. Now that was, I mean, you have to handle that situation. That's in felony court.
I know
That's,
he
yeah.
won't even, he should at least give my money back to me,
Yeah.
you know?
Well,
If
so
he
I can't give you
represent
any legal advice or anything. But in this particular case, these misdemeanor cases, we're gonna reset these misdemeanor cases with your felony case. What that basically means is that you say it's set for Monday?
Yeah, this money.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to reset it on another date. These misdemeanor cases are gonna be reset on another day, because I think Monday your case have it set for trial.
All right.
That's what it says, your felony cases. And when they do those cases, you might need to just get in contact with your attorney, Mr. Burbank. Okay?
I don't even know. Never seen him before, so I know I ain't gonna try.
Just give him a 30-day reset. You can, yeah, you can call him. Yeah, just, she's gonna try to get in contact with your attorney on your misdemeanor case. Just hold on a minute. You can have a seat right there. We got, his.
At least on our end, I believe the paperwork's done, Mr. Anderson.
It is?
Yes.
Okay. And Glenda is not here to. I don't, you check to see. Oh, you in Anderson's file?
Yeah, I'm about to print the paperwork now.
Okay. Okay, we know, I'm gonna have to Court is in session and calls number 3266668. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Larry Darnell Anderson Jr. Mr. Anderson, is that your full name? Mr. Anderson, will you please raise your right hand? Mr. Anderson, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God? Mr. Anderson, you may put your hand down. How you doing, Mr. Anderson?
All right.
You all right?
Yes.
Okay, the reason why I'm asking is that earlier, I think you were sleeping in court, is that correct?
Yes, I'm tired from last night, and I got into my girl. I got a baby on the way.
Okay, now, Mr. Anderson, let's do this here. We need to see whether or not, now, have you sworn in? Okay. Mr. Anderson, I have before me a document that is titled Information, which was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This document states or alleges that on or about May 2nd of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespassing. Mr. Anderson, do you understand what you have been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Anderson, how do you plead? Guilty? Not guilty? You pleading guilty? Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Anderson, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. It's also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Anderson, there are a set of initials LA on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Mr. Anderson, are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
On the next page of the same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Mr. Anderson, is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, there's also a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes,
I also have another document before me, Mr. Anderson, that's titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
yes,
Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Now, Mr. Anderson, before you signed and initialed these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Anderson, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor. No objection.
No objections. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Now, let me show this to you, Mr. McIntosh.
Yes, Judge.
Now, Mr. McIntosh, you have advised and counseled Mr. Anderson. Is there any evidence that Mr. Anderson is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Now you've advised and counseled him. Did he, you went over the documents with him, is that
Yes, Your
correct?
Honor.
And did he acknowledge that he understood everything that he went over?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, Mr. Anderson, the reason why, well, you can show this to your client too. Now, Mr. Anderson, did you review the document that your attorney just handed to you? Now, Mr. Anderson, did you understand everything that your attorney went over?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand everything in these documents? Is there anything that is inhibiting your ability to understand
No, sir.
what your attorney went over?
No, sir.
Okay. So you understand what you've been charged with while you're here?
Yes, sir.
All right. And your plea and waivers are freely and voluntarily given?
Yes, sir.
Okay. State, you have any, State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor. No objection.
No objections? No objection, State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Now, Mr. Anderson, your attorney, Mr. McIntosh, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Okay, now, Mr. Anderson, I will accept your plea of guilty. Yeah, I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your pleas and waivers are freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
Your Honor, the agreement is for 10 days time served in the Jefferson County Jail with court costs taxed to retire.
Okay, Mr. Anderson, the state is offering that you serve 10 days in Jefferson County Jail. You will be given credit for 10 days that you have already served. So that means that you will not have to spend any more time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case, and because you'll be given credit for time that's already been served. The court cost in this case is $337, but you will not have to pay the $337 because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Mr. Anderson, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Anderson, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Anderson, this will, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney and follow the directions of our clerk. Now, Mr. Anderson, based on this test, it seems like you may need some help,
Yes, sir.
okay? And you probably need to, do something about that. I think you mentioned that you and your girl got into it or whatever. You already in the process? Well, only thing I can say is this here, the road to recovery starts off with one step, right?
Yes, sir.
So you've taken that first step. It's a long road. It is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yes, sir.
And so while you're on that road, you're gonna get weak along the way.
Yes, sir.
Why? Some of your friends, your old friends gonna come back around with stuff that they're not supposed to have. But you got other friends that you made in recovery. So you need to lean on them, okay? And so if you need any support, lean on those folks in recovery. And we hope that you have a successful recovery and continue to stay on that road to recovery. All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. And Mr. McIntosh, is this your only case?
I believe so, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
What? Okay, thank you.
Okay, try again, just lightly.
You sure it does.